I remember my
Can't you
father,
follow? Yeah.
before he passed, he did hear Mic in Hand.
Okay.
And I was able to play him an edited version of it because my father wasn't into all that cursing and stuff. And,
Right.
you know, he was like, Mark, that sounds just as good as anything on the radio. You know, and I was like, oh, man. You know, that was big to
That's
me
good.
because my
Yeah.
dad would kind of be like, oh, you know, sounds like a bunch of noise, or whatever that was. It is.
That's the way my mom was too.
You know,
it was just noise. It was
But
noise.
for him to actually enthusiastically say that sounds like, you know, just as good as anything else on the radio, that was huge to me. You know, and you know, that's honestly, you know, once again, getting rich or, you know, having the biggest record in the world is huge, but it's bigger than me.
Secondary. It was
Right.
secondary to you being able to almost have therapy through your passion.
Right.
And using your passion as therapy is, I think, what everybody strives to do. Whether you're an actor, whether you're a singer, whether you're a rapper, whether you're an athlete. If you can, that's your therapy. And I know we talked about Jordan. Jordan always said, man, within the lines of the basketball court, man, I don't care about anything else. I'm able to forget about all the other things that are going on. I've heard tons of rappers and actors and just say, you know what I'm doing, it allows me a reprieve from the reality of life. It's therapy for me. So,
for me personally, too, it takes me away. Like, I don't feel like there's a time or that I'm in a particular. I'm just there recording. There's nothing else going on.
right.
You understand? So it's a feeling of euphoria, to be honest with you. You know, but I did say I was coming back to Ziggy P. I got to say this about You'll Get Hurt. So I did a show at a little benefit concert called Wonderfest. Okay, and I met a lot of talented brothers out of Delaware there. I met D Harv, who's, you know, if you never heard D Harv rap, he got an album out there. I forget the name of it. I think it's They Keep Asking Me, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, Harv, if I got it wrong. Absolutely ridiculous. I met the brother at a show. He gave me his album for free. I'm very glad he did. I met K-Hawk there. Amazing rapper. I haven't heard everything of his, but everything I've heard is absolutely amazing. And I met a group called POR. POR is a guy named D-Scribe and Ziggy P.
Jay-Z just popped up.
Hey, John Sikowski, what's going on? So, POR performed this song. I can't remember the name of the song, but the beat instantly caught me. It sounded like a Cypress Hill beat to me. I remember I was stuck on that.
Dude, you
I was
got
like,
TikTok on your... Let me find out you making TikTok videos.
I'm not making but my nephew sends me them all the time.
He's making TikTok.
I'm not
videos.
making
He's
TikTok
making TikTok
videos.
Yo,
But listen,
he's making TikTok videos.
I'm definitely not.
So
yeah.
So here's another interview question. So
Hold on, let me finish this.
oh yeah.
thing there.
I'm sorry.
So, the group POR, right? Heard the song and I love the beat. So, the next day, I think me and Marketech went to record something. Okay, and I'm in the studio. He's playing this song, and the beat catches me. I'm like, "Yo, did you do this beat?" He's like, "Nah, Ziggy P did it." I'm like, "Word?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yo, get up with him. He has a bunch of beats." I said, "Okay." So I didn't know his number or nothing. You know what I mean? I didn't even know how to find him on Facebook. But what happened was I just got off work and I go to the Wawa around the corner from the job. And D-Scribe is there, the other member of POR. Mm-hmm. I'm like, "Hey, man, you remember me?" And he kind of looks at me suspect. He's like, "Nah, not really." And I was like, "Oh, I performed at Wonderfest. I was the first going." He was like, "Yo, you had one of the dopest songs at the show." I was like, "Oh, man, thank you." You know, I ain't got no big head. That humbled me. You know what I mean? I'm like, "Thank you." I said, "Man, I want to hook up with you and Ziggy P and do a song." He's like, "Yeah, that'd be dope, man. I'll let him know you try and get in contact with him." The next day or 2 days later or something, he hits me on Facebook. I'm like, he's like, "You've been looking for
him
me?"
or
like,
Ziggy P?
Ziggy P.
Okay.
I'm like, "Yeah, man, I want to get a beat from you, blah, blah, blah." So Ziggy P sends me like 3-4 beats. And I like them all. But it's this one that just caught me right away. First of all, I was a big Talking Heads fan as a kid anyway, you know. So he basically took
So let me stop you.
Yeah.
Because this is a part of the business that probably people don't understand. So when somebody sends you a beat, are you paying for a beat? They're not just offering you a beat and saying, "This is yours."
no.
Take your pick.
Well,
and it's free. So I think people don't understand maybe that aspect of the business part of it, and that's what makes things difficult. Maybe for artists,
right.
that people don't just throw you a beat and say, "Hey, this is yours."
Well, in some cases they do, but it's a rarity, and it depends on the relationship you have with them. So that makes for an interesting story I'll bring up after the Ziggy P. So no, the Ziggy P beats I was paying for. The Market Tech beats I paid for. Okay. So, and that's the business. That's not like, you know, somebody trying to get out. That's the business.
No. It's
People
not that
got
they're not
right.
they're not doing something. They're not taking advantage of you.
Right, they're making money.
It's
Right.
just part of the business.
Right.
That's what they do, like Ziggy P or Market Tech.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They produce the beats,
Right.
and then they sell it to the artist. But I don't think people understand that that's part of the business.
Yes, I mean, even more so if I was a major artist, and it would be way more money than, you know, what I've paid
Correct.
these guys. And these guys have been more than fair with what they're charging.
No
for
doubt. Yeah, that's not.
So he sends me a couple beats. He's like, you know, let me know. And he had them safeguarded because on the beat it kept repeating Ziggy P or something. I forget what it was, but
that's what they have to do to
Yeah.
make money. I mean, that's their trade. Like, so.
And the beat that I really fell in love with was a sample from the Talking Heads from Same As, no, what's his name of the song? I think, no, it's not called Same As It Ever Was. Once in a Lifetime is the name of the song. So he sampled from there. Doom, 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 doom. I don't know if you ever. So he sampled that and made this beat called You'll Get Hurt. And it says, step up if you want to get hurt. Step up, you'll get hurt. And I instantly was like, look, I want this one. And then
Fight song.
Then I see it. I sent him a sample of another beat that I haven't used yet. I still got it sitting on deck. But, you know, that was another beautiful beat he made. But D-Scribe was supposed to be on the song with me. So, make a long story short, he wasn't available. So, Ziggy said, do you mind if I do a verse on there with you? I'm like, nah, that'll be cool. So, you know, I met him at his house. You know, we played the beat and he did what he wanted to do. I'm like, yo, that's perfect. Went to the studio, knocked it out. Matter of fact, I did another song with Market Tech that day called Jack Johnson, which I haven't put on YouTube or anything yet.
Which is awesome because that involves your love of boxing and
Right.
and
Well,
your mutual love of boxing
Right.
with your father.
right.
So that's
And that's why I know about Jack
another
Johnson,
tribute
because of my
type
father.
of song for your father.
But
So
the funny thing about that is that Market Tech had the idea for it, and he had already did a verse on there, and he said to me, you think you could throw a verse on this? And I said, absolutely. But going back to Ziggy P, you know, we did that, and me and him have been friends ever since, you know, so I didn't just get a beat from a producer out of that. I got a new friend out of that. So,
Right.
so shout out Ziggy P. Of course, in the future, would love to do anything musically with you. But
this is real name. You want to throw that?
I
Or no?
don't know if he wants his. Well, he goes by it on Facebook, Zachary Wynn. Shout out Zachary Wynn. But yeah. So
But yeah, I mean, shit. If we can throw him some.
yeah, that's how that came about. You know, and like I said, any time, you know, he's kind of fell back a little bit, but anytime he does anything again, I'll be more than willing. We actually did another song together. I forgot about this. It's untitled, but what he did, he sampled the Double Dragon beat from the video game and made a beat out of it. And remind me to play the song for you before.
I've never played it.
But yeah. So
You know what? I was that literally just made me. A lot of those old Nintendo fucking songs probably would make good beats, like the
well, they did the Mario Brothers beat.
yeah, but even the Mike Tyson Punch Out.
Yeah.
Yo, even that would be not bad.
The funny thing about the Double Dragon thing that we did,
Psych Bike,
is that I was in the studio recording something else, and Marcus had played a sample of it. So I hit, yo, Sif, what's going on, bro? I went in the studio, and Markitech played this beat for me. I was like, yo, what's this? He was like, saw me and Ziggy doing it together. I said, word? I said, can I get on there? He was like, well, it's his thing. So I hit him up next day. I said, can I get on? He said, yeah, go ahead. And I was like, and that was that, man. And one thing about Ziggy that I want to say real quick, he's probably one of the most calm people I ever met in person. But when he raps, if you hear You'll Get Hurt, he does a third verse on it. So once again, go to Gorilla Gang 3421 YouTube, subscribe, like, listen to the song.
Yeah, he has that almost NWA. Yeah, it's almost like an NWA type of feel,
yeah,
like
very
on
energetic.
That, but on his verse. Yeah,
if you meet him in person, he's
it's
really
like
relaxed and cool.
A deep, like I know the exact words you're talking about. It's like a deep. Bro, it would be almost like what I would do, like.
Even POR stuff that he did before, like if you go on YouTube, check that out. POR on YouTube, like his energy is always up, man. Mm-hmm. And that like I couldn't match his energy if I wanted to. I don't think, you know.
Well, you're laid back. I mean, yeah. We get along because we're both laid back, but yeah, he was, yeah. Yeah. So, You'll Get Hurt. Check out You'll Get Hurt. Check out You'll Get Hurt. Check out You'll Get Hurt. On our YouTube. So the question I was going to ask you is...
Oh.
Go ahead.
Before you ask me the question.
Yeah, go ahead.
How we were talking about free beats. And once again, same show, Wonderfest. Mm-hmm. Also met this producer who I think is very amazing. And the crazy thing is, I've heard a lot of his beats through Markitech rhymes over a lot of his beats. But a guy named DJ Mac, I met at Wonderfest. And when I came off stage, I noticed his face. I've seen him before on one of Marcus's videos. I said, yo, you DJ Mac, aren't you? He was like, yeah. You know, we shook hands. I said, man, I'm a big fan of yours, you know. And once again, he was a humble dude, too. And I was like, yo, I would love to do something with you. He was like, definitely. He was like, yo, how many shows have you done? I'm like, yo, this is my first one. You know what I mean? He was like, yo, you can't tell. So from there, he told me to go and listen to some of his beats on some website. And I heard this one, I think it was called The Color Blue, if I'm not mistaken. And I did this song called Start to Finish, which I didn't put on YouTube. I got some vocals I got to add to it before, you know, I put it out. But
Orlando.
He said, yeah, you can have that beat. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, how much you want for it? He was like, nah, that's free. That's for you. I said, really? You know, I said, if you ever need me to do anything, let me know, you know. So, you know, I recorded Start to Finish, which features Markitech on it. And, you know, once again, I've heard him do work with other people. I just think he's a pretty amazing producer. But, yeah, that's probably the only free beat I've gotten from anybody.
All right, so that leads into a two-part question. So the first part of the question would be, do you feel like as a rapper, the competition of beats, of whatever, hinders you in the aspect that I don't want to give you my best stuff?
No, because, all right, so let me put it this way. So Markitech is a rapper, and he also makes beats. Mm-hmm. Okay. I've heard stuff Markitech has done where I've been like, hey, man, why you keep that for yourself? Why you But he makes so much good stuff that it's like, it's not slim picking. So, no, I don't feel like it is. And then there's some beats you're going to hear that are really dope, but they're not for you. You know what I mean? Or you can't think of nothing.
It doesn't flow with what you want.
Right. So, no, I don't feel like it hinders me. You know, there's beats, like I said, I've heard from producers, and I'm like, oh, you know, I like that. Oh, no, it's such and such going to use that, or I'm saving this for that. You know, and it is what it is, man. It doesn't really bother me, and move on to the next one, you know? See what else they do.
Yeah, I think in the competitive aspect, I mean, obviously I don't write rhymes or whatever, but in the competitive aspect, I would say Oh, okay. Give me this beat and I'm gonna tear it up. So the second part of the question, and this was, I want to know, and this is the question: when did you first perform live for an audience? What was the reaction? It's like a 3-part question.
Oh, okay.
When did you first perform live? What was the reaction of the audience? Was it what you were expecting?
Okay. So the first live performance was actually Wonderfest. Okay.
Which is, I don't even know what Wonderfest is.
Wonderfest, it was this thing in Newark. It was a benefit concert. Okay. So.
What year?
Might have been 2015, 2016.
It's like five years ago.
Yeah. And matter of fact, if I get to go on YouTube, because there's a video of it on YouTube, if I get to go on there, I can tell you the exact year. But nonetheless, I got up there and performed, and as I'm going on some of the lines, because I try to put clever, witty lines and everything. And as I'm saying some of the lines, and people were laughing or clapping or whatever, what have you. Okay?
Do you know what song it was?
The Greatest.
Okay.
Okay. So after I finished performing, and there's a funny story I'll tell you at the end of it. You kind of know it, but as I finish and I say the last line, I'm about to make a noise that my pops can hear up in heaven. Everybody start clapping. As I'm coming off the stage, and I didn't expect this at all, people are coming up to me. And like, yo, that was dope, shaking my hand and everything. I'm completely overwhelmed. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, this is like love. You know what I'm saying? They're like, yo, that was good, man. You know, such and such. I remember there was this DJ there. I didn't know his name at the time, but his name was DJ Tactics. And I get off the stage and he has like this serious look on his face. As I walk closer to him, he starts smiling. He's like, yo, that was dope. And he shakes my hand. And I was like, oh, man, you know. So I just felt a lot of love. And then that's when I had a conversation with DJ Mac that I was just talking about. Okay. No, I didn't expect that at all. I honestly, because you hear so many horror stories of musicians doing their first show and getting booed. Prince was booed his first show.
Yes.
You know. So,
and that's where kind of I was like, what was your experience? Like, you know, people...
Yeah,
they're judgmental, but sometimes it's rightful, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
So I know what that first experience was.
I kind of expected it to be more of a negative thing, but it wasn't at all, you know. And you know, that made me feel. Now, my second show I did, the reaction wasn't as overwhelming as the first time. This was at an art gallery, actually. This was something Architect put together. Yeah, that's the funny
art
thing.
Gallery.
He wanted to fuse art and hip hop together. So he had people painting while we were performing.
While you were, oh wow.
So, you know, I don't know if people were not concentrating on me or what have you. And it wasn't like I got any booze or anything. I actually got some cheers, but a lot of people were kind of like, oh, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, whatever.
But I think that's that's kind of a weird, maybe.
It's weird. It's not really weird. I mean, they truthfully.
But you can't concentrate on. I actually draw. I draw art, whatever. So I do that, and that requires concentration. You cannot do the two of those. And, I can't read a book and listen to music at the same time. I can't square the two circles. It's just you have to concentrate on what you're doing. So I do understand how that might prove difficult.
Right. Now, I opened up at both of those shows, but the funny thing about the first show, the Wonderfest show, is we were supposed to, and I didn't get the memo right away, we were supposed to bring the instrumental on USB drive, or matter of fact, I think it was only a USB drive because the CD player didn't work. So I didn't know how to do that. I'm like calling around. Finally, I got a hold of Architect. I'm like, listen, you know, I got the beat on my phone, but he was like, yeah, that'll work. You know, if that won't work, we'll just play an instrumental or something, you know, and you'll just, you know, or whatever. If you got a freestyle, whatever, you know. I'm like, okay. So the beat's playing on my phone. I'm doing the show. I get to the very end of the song, and I get to the part where I say I'm about to make a noise that my pops can hear up in heaven. My phone rings. I didn't have it on
But that's the one you
mode.
sent me.
Yeah.
You showed me that. Yeah,
but
yeah.
it rung to where it kept on time. The beat kept on time.
Yes.
So it didn't throw me off or anything. It just
funny.
kind of at the end. Or
So you should link it in the video.
Yeah.
When we upload this, link it so
And
they
I
can see it.
I act like nothing happened. I hurried up, grabbed my phone, clicked it off, unplugged my phone, and got off the stage. And I got a standing ovation.
Which is funny because you can see it online. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we'll put it up.
Since
Hey, Marketech. Speaking of Marketech, there's my brother right there.
What's up, man?
We gotta do something soon, bro.
I know your brother, but I don't know you. But Greg definitely knows me.
So
yeah, that's awesome. I think it's great that you've been able to turn rap into passion. I think it's great that you've been able to make the songs that you've made. That shit, I don't know that I've heard all of them, but the ones that you got on Reverb Nation. If you want to listen to Mark's songs other than our YouTube channel, go on Reverb Nation and search One Man Gang,
aka OMG.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Like, if you're into kind of that old school rap, I'm telling you, like, I don't have a problem. It's my favorite rap song. I don't care about any song, and he always gets like this and puts his head down and embarrassed because I say this, but yeah, I don't have a problem. It's my favorite rap song.
It's the most
of all
fun
time
I've ever had in the studio, and part of that was Marketech. The acting job he did, like I said, as the AA counselor or whatever you want to call it, sponsor, what have you. I was just as entertained watching him as I was, making a song. You know what I mean?
You guys did a great job. That's my favorite rap song of all time. Above Public Enemy, Eric B, NWA, I don't care, and he
big.
don't like hearing it.
That's big,
and it messes him up. But yeah,
I always said, like, if I was able to have a far stretch with this thing, my biggest thing is I would want DJ Premier to do a song with him to say I'm dope, and for krs-one to say, yo, that's dope. And that would feel like all the achievement in the world right there. Forget a Grammy, all that stuff.
So let me ask you this, though.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this when I was taking Selena to school. Who would you consider, and Marketech, since you online, who would you consider as the most cerebral
rapper?
KRS-One, Tupac, Rakim, Chuck D, Marketech. Who would you label as the most cerebral? And then Mark, also you. Who would you label as the most cerebral? And I know we talked about it in our last podcast where you said Public Enemy was favorite album of all time. But I was thinking about this just when I was driving Celine to school the other day. Who is the most cerebral? Like, who is the most conscious, woke, whatever you want to call it? And who would you say?
For me personally, the most cerebral.
It's a hard thing. It's a hard. It's a hard way to go. But
you know what?
I wanted to know the answer. I want to know. Like, I think, man, it's a tough thing, man.
I don't know, man. I might say KRS-One is. When I give my top 5 period, it's usually KRS-One. Now, top 5 lists can change, as time go on, but pretty much for years mine has been KRS-One, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Cool G Rap, and Scarface as my favorite rapper.
It's hard, man.
As far as the most cerebral,
Rakim?
No, Rakim's great. The only reason why I say KRS-One is my number 1 is because I feel like KRS-One has touched more subjects than Rakim has. I mean, lyrically, I feel like they're on the same level.
They said it touched more subjects than Chuck D. I don't know if he is.
Yeah, I think so. Chuck doesn't really step out of his. He said Paris, Chuck D, Q, krs-one. Okay.
Paris, as in
Paris. You never heard of Paris? He's the
Brand Nubian. He's just
no. Oh, he's saying Brand Nubian as a group. Paris was a rapper who was very much like Chuck D. Okay.
Wasn't Paris part of EPMD?
No, Paris was by itself. You talking about Parrish Smith?
Yeah.
Parrish, not Paris.
Man, you know.
No. I know. That's why I'm. But yeah, I would probably say KRS-One. I don't know, man. KRS-One, as far as rap is concerned, the devil made me do it. Yeah, Paris was nice, but KRS-One was almost like a god to me coming up. You got to understand. Like I was.
But is it a sign of the times, or is it him? You know what I mean?
It's him.
Is it the times? Because
you
know the times. Like when KRS-One came out with all the stuff that he came out with, he was the only one talking about it.
Right.
He was the only one talking about social consciousness. He was the only one talking about black communities.
There was others, but he was probably not on at the highest level, right?
They weren't on that level. So KRS-One was doing it, and then I would say Chuck D.
Yeah.
Threw himself into it, and then not KRS-One, but Rakim was more like straight, raw street.
Yeah.
And not so much as a social consciousness of everything, but he was like a New York consciousness of everything. Like Rakim gave an overview of New York consciousness and all that stuff. But I mean, I would personally say Public Enemy, but or Chuck D, but I'm also not
I think Chuck
the best person to
more
ask.
so than being Cerebral, I think Chuck D was very political. And I think people were very scared of what Chuck was talking about.
Very political. I think Chuck D, if we were relating it to something now, we would say Chuck D is the Bernie Sanders of politics right now.
As far as KRS-One is concerned, man, you got to understand back in '88, there was a song drop called My Philosophy.
Yes.
At that time, I don't think I heard anybody, for me personally, do it better lyrically than KRS did on that song. Let it begin, what, where, why, or when will all be explained like instructions to a game. What made it harder was the real song, the beat plays. On the video, they'd stop the beat and he was talking and they would kind of play the beat for a second and then he would start talking again. And then at the end of that first verse, they let the beat go. KRS-One was very clear and understanding to me at a young age. So was Chuck. It Takes a Nation, like when people was dancing to that album, I was actually listening to the lyrics. And I'm like, wow.
Chuck D made you listen to the lyrics of the song. It just was.
So, KRS-One was like a god to me as far as rap was concerned when I was coming up. More so than any other rapper. And then I remember Ice Cube came out with America's Most Wanted, and that changed my life too. There's a few albums changed my life.
So I remember there was a time, and there were two separate rap collaborations, I guess you would say. I think the East Coast did You're Heading for Self-Destruction.
Self-Destruction, yes, sir.
And then the West Coast did
We're All in the Same Game.
We're All in the Same
But they
game.
were some years apart, if I'm not mistaken.
It was like 2-3 years apart. It wasn't.
I'm not completely sure.
Yeah, it wasn't very far apart.
Yeah.
Do you think the messages were dissimilar?
No, I think it was the same message, but it was brought differently.
According to geography.
Yeah, maybe so. Basically, we're all in the same gang. Stop killing each other. You know what I'm saying? Self-destruction. Stop killing each other. You understand what I'm saying?
What verse stands out in
Each one?
Yeah. So what verse stands out to you in self-destruction and we're all in the same gang?
See, okay, so I don't know if this was the best verse, but surprisingly enough, well, not surprisingly. See, a lot of people don't recognize Kumo D for the rapper he was. Later on, I wasn't a big fan of his, but Kumo D. But Kumo D's verse in Self-Destruction, especially when he said, I never had to run from the Ku Klux Klan, and I shouldn't have to run from a black man because that's self-destruction. That hit me hard. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? As far as we're all in the same gang, I liked King T had the first verse. I liked the verse. It wasn't anywhere near the best verse, but actually Digital Underground's verse, I actually liked.
Yes.
Him
that
and
flowed
Humpty
great.
going,
Yes, that flowed
I'm
great.
in a rage. Oh yeah, why is that? Gee, other races. They say we act like rats in a cage. Yeah. So I'll probably give it to Digital Underground. NWA's verse, Dre and Ren's verse wasn't.
I would say
Easy's verse wasn't all that to me personally.
I liked Easy.
Did you? Okay.
I would say Easy's verse and then Chuck's verse. Or
Chuck D's verse on on Self-Destruction.
Yeah, I would say Chuck and Easy, and maybe that's again,
Heavy D had a very good verse.
I mean, Miss Melody didn't have a bad verse. I'm Miss Melody, and I'm the born again lover. Yeah. You know that
I didn't mind Heavy D's verse.
Yeah,
Animals, I don't agree with
good.
Yes,
yes. Yep.
So Heavy D or Kumo D on the Self-Destruction, and I think I'd definitely give it to Digital Underground. I haven't heard them in a while, so I might have.
I haven't heard them in a while either. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting back to the old talking about "We Are the World" type shit.
yeah.
But yeah, man. So that's about it for this podcast, Gorilla Gang.
Excuse me.
We knocked out a bunch of stuff. We talked about the All-Star Game. We talked about
Valentine's Day.
Not
Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day. Just for those who don't like to mispronounce it.
Which is crazy because if you go back to their origins of Valentine's, it had nothing to do with anything.
Wasn't it a massacre or something like that?
No, the massacre was in Chicago. So Al Capone, in the 1920s, I believe, he orchestrated the Valentine's Day massacre against some Irish gang or whatever. But but originally St. Valentine was, it's a weird thing, but whatever. Yeah. But yeah, so we talked about Valentine's Day. We talked about the All-Star Game, dunk contest this year. We got into Mark's rap career, which
is
banging.
Still going on.
And Mark's going to bang it out. We want you guys to like, subscribe on YouTube. We'll put the link in the description. Remember, we're here for you guys. We're having fun, obviously, doing this for us, but we're also doing this for everybody else. It's kind of our therapy as well. We get to talk. This is stuff that, even if we weren't on camera, me and Mark would be talking about it. Yeah, we would be talking about it anyway, so we're putting it on camera. The only thing we haven't done is do our chess move, but Mark is using the chessboard as his phone.
And you got to fold it up from the first move, man.
Well, because Selena was must. So the funny thing is, Selena can tell you all the characters. She knows Rook, Knight, Bishop. So I was kind of impressed with that. But
excuse me.
So we're gonna do our chess move probably off camera. But we want you guys to tune in. We do this every Sunday. We get on. Again, YouTube, Facebook. It'll be in the description. And we thank you guys for tuning in. If you were on our lives, appreciate you. You guys are awesome. Any feedback, if you shared our page, again, awesome. We want your suggestions. Like, give us ideas. What can we talk about? We
And
love.
we will talk about it.
Yeah, we love going down rabbit holes and just going off topic sometimes. But yeah, if you have something you want us to talk about, yeah, we're obviously let us know. We get interactive and it'll be fun. So that is it for us for this week. So peace on the streets.